Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's TRIG 2024 application support webinar. We are looking forward to tell you more about the Transport Research Innovation Grants Programme and introduce you to the teams that are involved in TRIG 2024. I see the number of attendees is growing, so whilst everyone joins us, I'll do some quick introductions. My name is Giulia Lorenzini, and I'm the Innovation Funding Team Lead at Connected Places Catapult. The reason we're here today with our colleague from the Department for Transport is because TRIG, the Transport Research and Innovation Grants Programme, is a program run in collaboration between CPC and funded by DFT. CPC is, as some of you probably know, one of 9 centres set up to support innovation and growth in the UK. And each of them have a specific remit. The CPC, the Connected Places Catapult remit, is to tackle challenges and accelerate growth in the transport and place domain. And on that note, let's play a quick video to tell us more about what we do.
For millennia, cities have been places where bright ideas spark. From the earliest riverside trading posts that turned into today's sprawling megacities in the digital global economy. Cities can create positive experiences for people, always connected by technology. And when connected places work well, it's good for people and the planet. But making a connected place succeed is hard. There's loads of stakeholders, businesses, regulators, and community groups who want to be involved across every mode of transport, every type of building, the infrastructure that underpins them, and the data and digital platforms that connect them. All of this is needed to help people, communities, neighbourhoods, and local businesses to prosper. Now, more than ever, we need our connected places to succeed. We are in a climate emergency. Rapid urbanisation means 3/4 of us will be living in a city by 2050. And new technologies are revolutionising the way that we live, the way we work, and the way we travel, creating fantastic opportunities for innovation, jobs, and growth. At Connected Places Catapult, we connect people, places, and businesses for a future of sustainable growth and prosperity. We are the UK's innovation accelerator for cities, transport, and place leadership. We are trusted across government, industry, and academia, connecting new technologies, business models, and investment opportunities. So join with us and be better connected for a future of sustainable growth and prosperity.
So welcome back again. Many more people have joined during the video, so welcome to all of you who missed the initial welcome. And my name is Giulia and I'll be the chair for today. So a very quick overview of what's in store today. We're going to hear from the Department of Transport, various colleagues from the department, telling you more about what's in store with the TRIG 2024 challenges this year. And my colleague Isabel will also talk you through the program remit and give you some very useful tips on how to submit a successful application. So please listen in. At the end, we'll have time for Q&A. So I would strongly suggest from now, if you have any question, please use the Q&A function that you see at the bottom of your Zoom screen to send us in any questions, any clarification, any feedback you may have. And we'll try and answer as we go and leave some for the end for further clarification. Before we move on, if you can, if I can have the next slide. I just wanted to give a quick introduction to the team that is involved and you'll liaise with during the application period if you're planning to submit an application. Isabel, who you'll hear later on today, there she is popping on the screen, and she's the TRIG 2024 lead. We've got Abu Sede, who will be the Innovation Funding Officer for TRIG 2024. Nick Woodward, our academic engagement manager, and you also liaise with myself and Abby in the background. On that note, I'm going to hand over to you, Nathan, for a SciTech introduction.
Perfect. I think that's working. I assume you can all see me. Thank you for coming along today and being part of this journey with us. What I thought we could do is start off with an introduction to my team. We are the face of TRIG within the department, and ultimate responsibility for running the program does sit within us. We've been running TRIG for 10 years, so this has been going on for quite a while, and we've had some really, really interesting projects come through that have gone on to do incredible things. So yeah, there's me at the top. I hate having my photograph taken, but that's the only one I could find that was vaguely decent. So I'm the head of innovation. So you'll see me, if you were to apply and you were successful, you'd see me on the various coffee connectors at the various events, and I'm quite actively involved in the process. Abby is our manager, so grant manager, so she owns the relationship with CPC. There's more grants that we do than just TRIG, and so she has overall control of that relationship. And then Seth is our TRIG lead, so you'll see Seth on every single call, effectively on throughout the process. You'll see Seth dipping in and out, and you'll also be hearing from Seth in a little bit. But what I thought, if I could have the next slide, please, what I thought could be helpful is understanding who we are as SciTech. So why is it that SciTech does TRIG? Why is it that TRIG exists? And why is it that it's been running for so long? So effectively, as a team, we're made up of 3 areas. We do futures innovation, we do emerging tech, and we do strategy. And so all of those come together in almost like a triangular Venn diagram, and in the middle sits TRIG. TRIG is that low-level innovation that disrupts the market, that allows emerging technologies to grow, that allows us to look into the future, to see what technologies are viable, to innovate, to develop strategy around that, and then obviously building governance and so on. And all of these move on to supporting our aims and our enablers. So this has changed slightly, and this is something you'll hear throughout our your time within TRIG, is that we have our 3 aims: growing and leveling up the economy, reducing environmental impact, improving transport for the user. So there are 3 aims. And we have enablers that allow us to hit those aims. That's international science technology, where we are today, safety and security, and then being an excellent department and a great place to work. So all of these things come together ultimately to form TRIG and to form what you're here for today to hear about. So I don't have much more to say other than good luck. This is a really exciting program. It goes from strength to strength every single cohort. And if you feel like your project sits nicely into one of the calls that are about to be explained, then absolutely worth your time applying. I'll end with a health warning. And I know that networking is really important and the use of LinkedIn and other social media. But please don't be offended if any of our DFT or CPC colleagues don't accept your invites to use social media, whether that's LinkedIn or whatever. It's just that because this process has to be completely impartial, you might find that we won't really want to be effectively socializing with people applying for government grants during the process. So please don't be offended if it doesn't happen, or if you are it's not rejected, I forget what the term is. But it's just that we have to remain impartial to make sure that this is a thorough program and an honest program. So yeah, so thank you, Julia. I'll hand back to you. Good luck again. I can't wait to see you.
Thanks, Nathan. I'm going to hand over straight to Isabel.
Yeah, thank you, Julia. So we'll move to the next slide, please. And so I'd like to start with saying good afternoon and welcome on board of this webinar for TRIG 2024. So as Julia mentioned, my name is Isabel. I am the Innovation Funding Program Manager at Connected Places. So first, I'm going to explain for those of you that are new to TRIG what TRIG is. So TRIG is the DFT flagship innovation funding program that provides a mechanism to identify and support early stage proof of concept ideas and to de-risk emerging transport solutions. So this is a long-standing collaboration between Connected Places, Catapult, and DFT to provide a collaborative space for academia, businesses, and government to work together on realizing shared goal. So on a more macro level and long-term goals, TRIM aims to enhance employment opportunities and address skill gaps. And the ambition is to create new intellectual properties that will position the UK as a science and technology superpower. Additionally, they will help expanding the UK export output and contribute significantly to the nation's economic growth. And as you know, transportation plays a crucial role in our economy and daily activities. So it includes consumption, work, and travel, etc. So innovation is not just beneficial, it's essential. And one of my favorite quotes is the best way to predict the future is to invent it. So I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the pivotal role that you as innovator play in shaping the future of our transport system. And TRIG is committed to transforming our transport network to make it safer, greener, more resilient, and more accessible. On a more short-term view, TRIG offers small amounts of funding via a low-burden process for innovation that maybe are too early for angel investor or helping innovation that may otherwise not get off the ground to get them to proof of concept stage. So the ambition and stakes for our transport system are so high that sometimes we need really bold ideas. And it's important to remember that with such innovation, many ideas will not succeed. And that's entirely acceptable for TRIG, because TRIG is designed to allow you to succeed or fail quickly, enabling rapid progress for conducted initial research. So what we categorize as TRL 2 to TRL 4. And the idea is to provide new concepts and building a prototype. So we know this process can be challenging and laborious. So by accelerating it, we can accelerate it with some collaboration, also with academia, industry, and policy maker. And that's TRIG great strengths and synergy, and we hope all the great ideas will flourish. So next slide, please. So I'm just gonna share with you a snapshot of the few figures and few facts about TRIG. So as mentioned before, this is the 10th anniversary of TRIG, so it's very exciting. And we already, TRIG already helped 402 projects across 18 competitions, which is a total of 12 million pounds awarded. On the next slide, please. I'm going to talk about the TRIG value. So exciting to share that our unique program can significantly impact your business and extend your network with the transport industry. So we offer the opportunity to receive 100% grant funding, providing up to £45,000. So this is funded designed to help you cover the costs, improving the feasibility of your project and create a prototype. But I really want to stress that our program doesn't just stop at funding. A lot of companies agree that TRIG is also and mainly about the network and about the business support we provide. So we organize with TRIG some workshop and ad hoc assistance tailored to address specific needs or challenges that the business face. And this support is crucial for the growth and the success to market for your innovation. Also, engagement is key in the industry. So participants in our program have the unique opportunity to engage directly with government bodies, SMEs, academia, corporates, and this network enhanced collaborations opportunity opens doors that are not really easy to access otherwise. By being selected by our panel of experts, your business gains a stamp of credibility. So there's a recognition that is very valuable to position your brand and show you as an innovative leader, making you even more attractive to investors, partners, and customers. Finally, apart from the online presence that culminates at the end of the program with the showcase, we also have some campaign that gives you visibility, and those events and campaign is a powerful platform for raising your profile and give you more strength to then move to the commercialization phase. On the next slide, I'll cover who can apply to TRIG. So we are calling all innovators that are solving problems from across all modes of transport. So the requirement is for you to have a UK registered organization. So for even some foreign companies that have established an office in the UK are also eligible. And there's no minimum registration period required to qualify. The project you are submitting needs to be a very early stage, as we mentioned before. So that's what we categorize as TRL 2 to 4. And so if you already built a prototype and ready for commercialization, you are not eligible for TRIG. But I can assure you that Connected Places Catapult has something in store for you. So if you are not eligible for TRIG, please email us and we can point you to the right program. It is also worth mentioning that we are funding projects up to 45,000 pounds, but we don't really want to miss out on bigger projects. So if you have a bigger project that is still very early stage and you require matching funding, then you can still apply for TRIG, and I will touch on that a bit later. All businesses of any size are welcome to apply. So micro businesses, small businesses, medium, and even large businesses. But I need to stress that for large businesses, you must justify in your application why this cannot be self-funded and why you need TRIG to really support this project rather than using your own R&D budget for this project. Any type of organization are eligible, so private businesses, charity, local authority, academics can be eligible. If you are a PhD, you are not in the book of the university, so please go to your department for your department to apply on your behalf. Then regarding consortiums, so that's something we really encourage, but this is not a requirement. So we had already a few questions about that. It's great to have a consortium, but you won't be scoring higher for that. But we take into account your overall strategy of stakeholder in the application. So even if you're not in a consortium, but you show that you are, your stakeholder mapping and you're going to be very involved, then that would be scoring higher for the application. If you are in a consortium, please appoint one lead for the application and for the whole program, and make sure you have an agreement between yourself to distribute the funding, and make sure that this person will be the person we will contact with Connected Places. And finally, if you've already applied to TRIG, whether you've been successful or not, you can reapply, but with a different idea. So the same project cannot be submitted for TRIG another time, but obviously we accept companies that already been involved in TRIG. I apologize for the pictures. They are AI generated, so sometimes you may see some words that don't really make sense, but I thought it was still good to have those pictures on the presentation. So we'll go to the next slide. So in terms of what can be expected and when you can expect that for TRIG 2024 cohorts. So the project will start on the 1st of October, but the cohort should be announced in September, and all innovators should complete their questionnaire and some one-to-one call with our team prior to the beginning of the project. So the 60% of the budget submitted for the project will be awarded in October, and the 40% left will be awarded after the submission of the final report documents at the end of the project. Yes. So there's a bit of paperwork at the end of the program, but as mentioned before, the program is designed to offer a low burden process. So this is still very manageable for everyone to fulfill. On the 23rd of October, so that's a day to put in your calendar. We will organize an in-person event showcase to showcase the project from the previous TRIG cohorts. And this will allow the new cohort to network with the previous and current cohorts. So that's going to be a nice event, but also it will be branded with the 10th anniversary of TRIG. So forming part of an overall campaign. So you can see that this is one of the best times to join the program. Each month, you will have to attend mandatory online coffee connector and optional business support session. And this will also be the opportunity to network with cohort and DFT policy leads. So next slide, please. This is this year. So we will award a total funding of £1,350,000, and this will be awarded to 30 projects across 5 challenges, including an open call. And so with further ado, I will leave the floor to the challenge owners, so from DFT, to present each challenge in more detail, so you can see if you can what would be the best challenge for you to apply, and what sort of solution ideas we are looking for. So we will start with the open call with Steph, and that's I'm going to leave the floor for you. Over to you, Steph.
Thanks very much, Isabel. Welcome, everybody. I'm Seth, and as Nathan mentioned, I also work in the innovation team within the Science, Innovation and Technology Directorate, and we are sponsoring the Open Call category again this year. So the idea of Open Call is that we want to seek innovative ideas that have the potential to address UK transport challenges across all modes and technology areas. This challenge area gives the chance to those ideas which don't necessarily fit into the scope of the other challenges, and make sure that no innovative transport idea misses out on that potential funding opportunity. We in the SciTech Directorate don't sit in a specific transport mode, and we work across DFT on the science, innovation, and technology challenges the department faces. Therefore, what's important to us is that we would really like to see innovations have the potential to address the DFT strategic aims, as Nathan mentioned earlier: reducing the environmental impacts of transport, improving transport for the user, and finally, growing and levelling up the economy. More details of this are available within the TRIG grant specification document on the CPC website. So what we've got on this screen are a few examples of the Open Call challenge responses from previous years. I won't go through the list of examples individually, but I think that they give a good flavour of the range of projects that have been funded previously. The idea is to improve transport for all and to speak to those DFT aims as mentioned earlier. There is also a link at the bottom of the screen to the DFT areas of research interest, which were released in April of 2023. This could be a good place to go to spark some ideas, and there is also an annex in the grant specification outlining some of the research needs highlighted by our futures team, which could also provide some more guidance. You can also go onto gov.uk and search for TRIG to see all of the previous projects that have been funded since 2014. If you have an idea that you think will improve transport and doesn't fit into another predefined category, please do apply for the open call. That's all from me. And next, I'd like to introduce to Ellen with the Local Transport Decarbonisation Challenge.
Hi all, I think we've just had a poll pop up, so I will give people a second to respond to the poll before I crack on. But yeah, as Seth said, I'm Ellen Cumber. I work in the place-based decarbonisation team here at the Department of Transport. Really delighted to be back again with another local transport decarbonisation call. This is going to be our third TRIG call. So we've had one in 2023 and one in 2022. And they obviously work because we keep doing them. And we've had some really great projects come out of it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why and kind of what the challenges that we're looking to seek through this specific TRIG call, and then give you a bit of a flavour of some of the examples that we've had kind of previously. So as I'm sure people on the call will be aware, transport is the largest emitting sector of GHG emissions in the UK, accounting for 26% of carbon dioxide emissions in 2021. In our transport decarbonisation plan, we set out how a place-based approach will help to make our villages, towns, cities cleaner, greener, healthier and more prosperous places to live, work and enjoy. Local areas have a really key role to play in reaching net zero by 2050. And we recognise not only the collective importance of this in the transport space, but also the fact that each individual place will have unique challenges and opportunities that they will face along the way. Nathan kind of covered off some of this earlier, but we really see innovation as kind of an enabler to decarbonisation, transport decarbonisation, kind of aligning with some of our strategic aims. And so that's why we kind of want to do a TRIG local transport decarb call. And we really see that innovative approaches can help to unlock some of the challenges and opportunities in local areas. And we have seen that through our previous TRIGs. The innovative approaches that we're looking for will have the potential to be scaled up and adopted more widely, and they will also be taking kind of a place-based approach and having other co-benefits. So that could include things like improvements to local air quality, better connected communities, increased mobility options, increased sustainable transport options, all of those kind of things. Could we have the next slide, please? Brilliant. So there's some examples of potential projects on the screen, and don't feel like you need to scribble these all down because they are all on the kind of TRIG webpage, so you can find those afterwards to refer back to them. But yeah, hopefully that's a kind of a useful overview of what we're looking at, and please do take a look at the kind of the TRIG scope when drafting your applications. There are a couple of things that are out of scope, and they're also in that TRIG call on the TRIG website. So do please take a look at those. But that's mainly kind of maritime or aviation projects. So we're really focused on local transport rather than kind of wider. So like I said, I'm going to talk about a couple of projects that we funded previously. This is absolutely by no means an exhaustive list, just to give a bit of a flavour of the kind of things that have been successful before. So we funded the development of a societal readiness assessment for transport decarbonisation, which kind of was similar to the TRLs, which we've all been talking about, but kind of a societal readiness assessment. So you could be TRL 9, but actually is society kind of ready for your innovation? That was great. That was a really interesting project, and it actually won one of the DFT Chief Scientific Advisor Awards for outstanding project delivery at the end of the year, and that was an academic-led project. I saw a couple of questions in the Q&A about whether kind of universities or academics can apply, and absolutely, we've had a number of university projects previously. We've also funded some digital twin projects, including the Slingshot Solutions Rapid Digital Twin, which was a kind of solution for planners to use a data and science-based approach to assess, prioritise and accelerate interventions for local transport decarbonisation. Through TRIG and the relatively kind of small amount of funding, this project was actually able to come to commercialisation and is now partnering with local authorities. So that was an amazing achievement and we were really, really pleased with that. I'll also talk about Iona Drones, who we funded kind of a number of projects the year before last. That was kind of looking at autonomous parcel dispatch for drones, but specifically kind of related to challenges in rural areas and exploring how drones might help to overcome those. We funded projects looking at increasing sustainable transport options on a university campus by utilising mobility hubs, innovative cycle designs, loads more. And you can take a look at the previous TRIG programme brochures over the last 2 years to kind of find out more and give you a bit of sense of what we're interested in. So you'll be able to see there's kind of a real range of different innovative solutions that we're looking for, but the kind of main aim is to support us to accelerate the transition to local transport decarbonisation. As said, happy to answer any questions. Feel free to put them in the Q&A, and we really look forward to receiving your application. Thanks very much, and I will hand over to whoever is next. Unfortunately, I can't remember.
So this is me. I'm going to give people a few seconds to answer the poll. Okay, perfect. So it's not actually me. I am not the face of this, but I have volunteered as tribute to give this presentation. So this challenge is actually headed up by James Tickler, who those of you who have done TRIG in the past will actually remember as the previous TRIG lead. So could I have the next slide, please? So my slides are much more basic compared to other areas because of the very nature of what we're offering here. So those of you who have read the Science and Technology Plan know that there are 5 key critical technologies that the government are interested in. They are, I've got them written down, I always miss one: AI, engineering, biology, future telecoms, semiconductors, and quantum technologies. And so what we're doing here is we're trying to develop a challenge based around those 5 technologies and looking how they can be used in transport. And so we've got 4 on this slide and 4 on the next. So we're looking at anything to do with AI in transport across all modes. We're looking for digital connectivity and sensors. We're looking for pathways to smart infrastructure. We're looking for use of digital twins. Next slide, please. We're looking for resilient and novel position navigation and timing technologies. Brand new this year, engineering and biology is an area that we're really, really interested in. Novel use of drones on the transport system, and then pathways to personal air mobility. So these are the 8 key areas where we're looking for people to apply for. But as Sefa said as well, we don't like turn down good ideas. So anything that you have an idea that doesn't quite fit within these, do apply, because we do have the open call. And just for a little bit of background behind the scenes of this, there are significant numbers of teams within the department who are working on these. So those successful applicants will also have access to the policymakers within the department to help you develop your project. I don't have much more to add, but there is more information in the guide that's been shared. So thank you very much, and yeah, good luck.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lauren Gelling. I am Head of Engagement for Scotland within DFT's Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland division. I'm here to tell you more about the nation-specific Transport Solutions Challenge. DFT's Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland division was created to help the department take a UK-wide approach to policy making and engagement. With engagement teams in Edinburgh, Cardiff and Belfast, we're out and about every week talking to a range of partners and stakeholders to gather insight, promote new policies, amplify grants and initiatives and drive collaboration. DFT's UK-wide approach is evidenced in this latest round of TRIG. For the first time, there's a funding call aimed at tackling transport challenges that are more pronounced in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. All parts of the UK are faced with geographic, technological and behavioural barriers to improving connectivity and delivering cleaner, greener and more sustainable transport systems. In Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, these barriers are often bigger across all modes and are typically attributed to physical geography and population distribution. In addition, some areas are disproportionately affected by socioeconomic and environmental factors that have exacerbated connectivity issues and limited the capacity to reduce carbon emissions. DFT is seeking innovative technologies and approaches that have the potential to improve connectivity and reduce emissions in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. With limited funding options available, we need to work collaboratively with partners in academia, business, and the public sector to deliver creative solutions to these challenges. For example, how can we address skills gaps in sectors that are crucial to decarbonisation and meeting net zero targets? How can we help deprived communities adopt green technologies and embrace behaviour change? How can we improve connectivity for people living in mountainous regions and island communities? How can we use transport to support industries that are prevalent in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland? And how can we improve the passenger experience for people who are reliant on public transport in remote and rural areas? We try not to be too prescriptive in the specification for this funding call. All we ask is that projects have clear applications in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. In addition, they should take a place-based approach, demonstrating an understanding of local, regional, and national needs. Applicants should set out how the challenge they are seeking to tackle is particularly problematic in or unique to Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland. If the challenge is shared to varying degrees with other parts of the UK, applicants should consider how and where their project might have broader applications. Applicants can apply for a project grant of up to £45,000. We're looking to fund up to 5 projects. However, the final number of projects funded will depend on the number of quality applications received, value for money, and the policy needs of DFT. Applicants are encouraged to consider the scoring matrix in the development of their proposal to ensure the development of credible bids. Where applicants submit more than one bid, evidence should be presented as to the deliverability of both projects side by side. We look forward to seeing your applications. Thank you. I'll now hand over to Amber to tell you more about the Maritime Decarbonisation Challenge.
Hi everyone. Would I be able to progress to the next slide, please? Perfect, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Amber. I'm a policy advisor in DFT and challenge sponsor for the Maritime Decarbonisation TRIG 2023 cohort. It's great to be here today to tell you a bit more about next year's TRIG Maritime Decarbonisation offer. So, as you may already know, maritime emissions are significant. UK domestic shipping alone emits more greenhouse gases than buses and rail combined. And without intervention, emissions from domestic shipping will continue to grow. The lifespan of vessels is around 25 to 30 years, which means we need to take action now to achieve net zero by 2050. DFT is committed to the decarbonisation of the UK maritime sector through 2 key endeavours. The first is research and development funding and investment through the UK Shore programme within Department for Transport. And for those of you that are new, UK Shore stands for UK Shipping Office for Reducing Emissions. The second is a comprehensive policy and regulatory programme. Now for this presentation, we'll be focused on UK Shore, which was announced in March 2022, allocating over £200 million in R&D funding and investment between 2022 and 2025, with the aim to accelerate the technology necessary to decarbonise our domestic maritime sector. UK Shore interventions address barriers to maritime decarbonisation over a range of technology readiness levels, so from conception right up towards market readiness. The TRIG programme, specifically, is targeted towards supporting innovators to conduct early stage proof of concept clean maritime solutions. Successful TRIG projects will help the UK build a solid research base and feed into a pipeline of innovation towards commercialisation, supporting the decarbonisation of the sector. Therefore, the UK Shore programme is providing £360,000 for the Maritime Decarbonisation Funding Call in TRIG next year for project grants up to £45,000 each, which means we're looking to fund up to 8 projects. If I could have the next slide, please. Thank you. So there are some suggested projects on the slide, and please review the grant specification document for the full details, but I'll provide a summary of the Maritime Decarbonisation TRIG challenge scope. So projects must be focused on clean maritime solutions that reduce greenhouse gas emissions by the UK maritime sector, as set out in the Clean Maritime Plan, and they should support the transition to net zero by 2050. So projects should have an innovative aspect, although this does include products being used in innovative ways outside of their original intended usage purpose. And projects could focus on things like low and zero emission fuels, energy sources, and vessel technologies, landside infrastructure or energy efficient measures to facilitate the uptake of low and zero emission fuels, energy sources, and vessel technologies, as well as smart shipping technologies. So automation and artificial intelligence that delivers indirect emission savings for any size of vessel. So one or two examples from previous rounds could be a project exploring the safe bunkering of liquid hydrogen in congested port environments, or a project designing and developing a prototype of a floating solar charge station for electric vessels. But of course, please refer to the grant specification information for examples of projects that are outside of this funding call or for further information. So thank you. I'm happy to answer any extra questions at the end, but for now, I will pause there and hand back to Isabel.
Thank you very much, Amber. If we can move to the next slide. Thank you very much. I don't know if any of the challenge owner wants to answer like a few questions that are in the chat already, or if we wait until the Q&A, we have.
Maybe we'll leave it for later, Isabel.
Because we have still a bit of time. Okay, so let's move to the next slide then. Okay, so some hints and tips for your application. So we might answer some of your questions that you already posted in the Q&A. So as you know, all application must be completed online by the 21st of May. However, you can use a Word document to draft your answer beforehand or to collaborate on it. I know it's proven to be very helpful in previous years, so you can make good use of it. Also, we strive to make our program as accessible as possible. So if you have any accessibility needs, please make sure to contact us before the 7th of May, specifying all the adjustments you require to complete your application. Although your application will be reviewed by technical experts, they will be also assessed by individuals with business background and policy background. So therefore, we ask you to ensure that you answer the questionnaire in a very clear and easily understandable language. So make sure that it's very simple to understand. And also, we already had this question about which challenge people should apply to. So this is not something we'll ask you. We tell you what to do. We can't specify which challenge you should apply to, as you are the best judge on how to present your project. So we may recognize that there are some challenges that may overlap, but the decision is really ultimately yours to make. So make sure that you read the grant specification to really understand what challenge is about, and make your decision which one you would like to apply to. On the next slide, please. On the opportunity page so you can see a screenshot on the screen. You will find all the documents that you need that will guide you through your application. So we have invested quite significant time in compiling all the information you need to apply. So please ensure you read them before starting your application. So especially the grant specification and the application guidance, where you can have and you have an FAQ at the end where we compiled all the previous questions from different TRIGs. So you might have a lot of answer already available in this document. We also created 3 templates. So if you already applied to TRIG before, we didn't have any templates for the document you had to upload. So now we created those templates. This is because it makes easier to compare each project. So make sure you use those templates, and they are available on the opportunity page that you can see on the screen, but also you can find them in the application form. So you can download them at either time and complete it to make sure that you have all the information in the right place. On the next slide, please. So this is a reminder of the application timeline. So today is the first webinar, but we will host a drop-in session on the 9th of May to help you with budget and finance, and another drop-in session on the 15th of May to help you complete your application. Again, the deadline is the 21st of May at 5 p.m. Please, please, please respect this deadline, as late submission will be not considered. So this is a very important date, 21st of May. On the next slide, please. So this will show the timeline for the evaluation process, which will begin after the application period closes and will continue until July for this first stage. For first stage of the selection is primarily a due diligence process. So this is we go through a quite important diligence process. We will verify that you have employer's liability insurance, that you have not received more than £315,000 in grant under the MFA rule, and that your organization is not involved in criminal activity, serial litigation, or tax breaches. So this is the very basic and first steps that we undertake when we select the application. And then your application will be scored by our technical expert at Connected Places Catapult and by DFT Challenge owner, following the scoring grid that is displayed on the screen. So we will select 55 projects for interview, and these interviews are scheduled between 15th of July and 9th of August. So also make sure that you've got those dates in the diaries, because if you are selected for the interview phase, you will need to be available between the 15th of July and the 9th of August to have this interview done. So this will be an online call, so this is easier to attend, but we really need you to be available. On the next slide, please. So I will go through all criteria that we take into account for scoring your application and showing the question that fit these criteria. So this is the first question, the first criteria, which is challenge, and that will count for 25% of your final score. So it's an important question and important criteria. So to qualify for this criteria, you really need to make sure that your challenge is aligned with that the problem you're solving is aligned with the challenge you're applying to. So the question is, can you describe the problem you are solving? How's the transport system impacted? What is the scale of the problem? Which population is affected by it? What scientific evidence supports this existing problem? And can you provide a source that highlights this problem? So all this will be scored. We make sure that the problem is a priority for DFT. We make sure that your explanation is clear, and that you have really substantial evidence and measure to prove that it's really a problem, it's really a challenge for the transport system. And you need to, it's better if you can signpost or show by some reputable sources that this is an issue. So make sure that you have all this information at hand when you apply for TRIG and that you answer this specific question. Next slide, please. So the solution, another very important criteria and question. So the question is, describe the solution and its novelty. Why is it innovative? So you have to give as much detail as possible. To qualify, the projects must be truly innovative and either by introducing a genuine new solution or leveraging an existing solution in a novel manner. So additionally, the project must have a strong science, engineering, and technology focus. So show that into your application when you reply to that questions. Make sure again that this solution really solves the challenge you've been applying to, and talk about and show that what is your unique selling point in terms of solution. Again, clarity is very important, and we'll take that into account in the scoring. Next slide, please. So impact and sustainability is also a very important criteria. So you will have 2 questions to score these criteria. So what are the societal, environmental, and economic impacts of your project and the strategy you are implementing to mitigate any negative impacts? We'll ask you also to describe the strategy that you will implement to ensure that the solution is inclusive and accessible. So this is an opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to equality, diversity, and inclusion, which are very important principles for TRIG. So you can talk about different approach you're taking towards ENDI and all the and show that you've been taking into account all the sustainability impacts on of your solution. So again, what is expected? So you need to be aligned with the strategic aim of DFT that has been already shown by Nathan earlier. Show that you have thought through your equality, diversity, and inclusion strategy, and showed all the impacts that your solution could have, a positive impact, but also negative that maybe you have a solution to mitigate them. So this is how we will score these criteria and these questions. Next slide, please. So commercialization, this will be 15%. So it's very important for us to fund project that has a life beyond TRIG. So obviously we are targeting some very early stage projects, but early on you need to think about how you're going to commercialize your project, your solution, your idea, and how this will support your project on a longer term. So we have a few questions that will fit into this score. So what's your understanding of the intended market, your indirect and direct competitors, but also what is the best route to market? So we will score the answer by taking into account if you have a good understanding of the market, if your solution is scalable, if you have already thought through a relevant route to market, and also, as I mentioned before, what is your stakeholder engagement? How are you going to, have you already mapped your stakeholder, and how are you going to engage with them, as it's very important to build a solution that has a life beyond TRIG. Next slide, please. So project management will count as 10% of your score. So as mentioned before, this year you have 3 templates to fill, to complete. So one is the project plan. So it's a Gantt chart. You can see it on the screen. It's just a screenshot of it. So it's important to integrate all the least work package of your project. You need to show the timeline, how the timeline is achievable, and also if maybe mentioning that in terms of subcontracting, you can subcontract your project, but you can't subcontract more than 50% to a non-UK company. This is important to take into account in your project, but also in the financial budget. In the project risk register, so it's another template that we created to ease the application. So the project risk register will have is the opportunity to outline all the health and safety management or ethic approval process risks. So take that into account. You can see on the screen. I hope you can see. I think it's a bit hidden at the bottom, but you can see you should be able to see the risk register. Also, so I'll show you the budget template on the next slide, but we'll have another question that is around the team. So the team that is, sorry, if we can go back to the previous slide, sorry. So the team, you need to show that your team is the best to deliver the project. So this is a question where an open question of 500 words where you need to explain what is your team expertise and background and how they are qualifying to deliver that project. So this time is the next slide. Thank you. So for the project and finances, you can claim as you know, you can claim up to £45,000 for the project. It can be lower, but it can be also larger. But we will only fund £45,000. So we don't want to miss out on a bigger project. So if you have some match funding, please indicate it in the project finance templates, so we make sure that we are aware of that, and that won't influence the score we're going to give on your application. The important part of your project finances is to show that you provide good value for money. So make sure that you include that in your project finances. And please, if you can have in your budget £500 for the TRIG in-person event, so to make sure that you are really involved in our events, and yeah, that you can attend it in person. We have two events, one at the beginning of the project and one at the end. Next slide, please. So this is the time to answer questions.
It is indeed. Yes. So what I suggest to do, I was typing up a few questions in the background whilst you were talking. If we can have perhaps all the DFT and CPC colleagues on screen, so that we can so that you can see us all. What I am going to do is use both of my screens and go through the lots of questions. Thank you very much that the participants have sent us. I'll sort of bring them together. There are a couple of similar questions that we can sort of answer in one. So I'll assign them to whoever I feel is best placed. If you prefer to pass them on to another colleague, please feel free to do so. So the first one is one for you, Isabel. You have covered it, but let's so clarify it. It's the boundaries of TRL, how strict we are with TRLs rather.
Yes, so indeed we have covered that. So we are looking for projects of TRL 2 to 4. If you are already in a commercialization phase, again, you can contact us by email saying that you're looking for taking part into a program or any opportunity, and we can point you to another opportunity at connected places. But if we are strict on making sure.
I think we just lost
anything on that.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, we are strict on TRL. So it's strictly TRL level 2 to 4 only. Thank you. I'm going to bunk together a couple of questions that few of you have asked. So it's about the eligibility and who can and cannot apply for the competition. So for clarity, and I know some of us have already answered this. Thanks, Abusede. I see you've sort of covered some of those already. Just for clarity, academics can apply, so university can apply. Please refer to the application guidance document on the website. It's all outlined there. Companies of any size can also apply. So some of you asked, you don't have a team, so you're a one-man band in a way. You can still apply. So SME startups, you are all eligible to apply. Some of you ask if we have preference for size of companies. No, we don't. Like I said, everyone is eligible. Even if you're a brand new startup, that's absolutely fine. We will look at the quality of the proposals and at the feasibility clearly within each challenge. So the technical reviewers and the DFT colleagues that you see on screen and many others will assess the proposals based on that. Isabel, I'm going to come back to you with another process questions. A few people asked, are letters of support required? And if so, how can they upload them or how can they provide them?
Sorry, my internet is unstable at the moment. Can you reply to that question?
Of course. Some people have asked whether letters of support are required, and if there is a way of making those letters of support available.
Sorry, could you respond to this one, Julia?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. So letters of support are not required as such. If you do have them, it's great. Please mention that you have support from other partners in the application form. At the very end, there is a section that allows you to add any other comments. So please add it in there, but the answer is that no, they are not mandatory. You don't have to provide any letters of support. I'm going to scroll down, and there were a couple of scope related questions. So I know that there was one for our maritime team, which I can't at the moment locate. So I'm going to come to you, Ellen, whilst I see the local decarbonisation question instead. So it says our project, Nathan, I guess, Lauren and Helen. Our project could fit both the local transport decarbonisation call and the nation-specific call. They're a Scottish-based business operating in Glasgow. Can they submit one project to multiple calls?
Should I let you go with that, Nathan? I feel like you can cover off the multiple calls bit, because I know that's cropped up quite a few times in the Q&A.
You're on mute, Nathan.
I'm actually going to defer to Seth on this one because Seth is the TRIG lead and is closer to the admin behind the scenes. And if not, maybe we can contact the person afterwards with the correct answer. Seth.
Yeah, so I would say if it's a project that you feel is more like the nation-specific goal, apply to that one, because the local transport decarb is the broader one in terms of the whole of the UK. If you feel it meets something in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, apply to the nation-specific one. If you feel it's more of a UK-based issue, then apply to local transport decarb. But yeah, we can discuss that. I would say if you're going to put two different applications in, we'd like two different applications rather than the same one, just going to two different calls.
Thank you.
Yeah, also worth saying for the local transport decarbonisation one, we're looking for projects with the potential to be scaled up across the UK. So if you are kind of looking at specifically a Scottish decarbonisation solution, then the nation-specific one might be more appropriate. But yeah, if it can be scaled up across the UK, we'd love to have you apply to the local transport decarb call.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, everyone. Again, bringing together a couple of questions not dissimilar to this one. A few of you have asked, can we apply to with the same project to multiple calls, which is pretty much similar to the one that we just dealt with. The answer is it's completely up to you. Does it give you more chances of being selected? Not really. You're more than welcome to submit the same idea against different calls, but the chances are that at the end, if you are selected, you will only be selected for funding under one. So we're not going to fund clearly the same idea under two calls. There is another one around which challenge am I best suited to put my call against? Shall I pass that on to you, Isabel, with regards to the TRIG scope? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something I mentioned during the presentation. We think that you are the best place to know how you're gonna position your project. So we are conscious that some call might be might have some overlaps, and if you are not sure if your solution does fit in one challenge rather than another, we can give you guidance on what is expected for each challenge, but we can't tell you apply to this challenge because that's really you to decide which one would be more relevant for your project.
Thank you. I see another question in the same vein. This time they're asking, can we submit two applications in the same challenge? You are welcome to submit two different ideas in the same challenge. And again, for example, we have had companies in the current TRIG and previous TRIG competitions that have received funding for two different projects within the same competition. So that is absolutely fine. Okay, maybe if I come to maybe you and to you, Seth, and Isabel, maybe together. The question is, can I reapply to TRIG if the project and business model have been significantly iterated since my previous application? Some clarification on you cannot reapply with the same idea would be great. Who would like
Yes,
to start?
so, I'll take that one if you want, Julia.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you've had a previous TRIG application which was declined for whatever reason, yes, if you've iterated it, changed it, whether that's the scope or the business plan behind it, we're happy to see that TRIG application come through again. If you've taken on board any feedback from CPC, for example, on the previous applications, yeah, more than happy to see that application come in the second time, as long as it's not the exact same because it was declined for some reason last time, and that reason might be the same this time if it was just the same.
You want to add anything, Isabel?
I think Seth was pretty clear on that. So
okay. Absolutely fine. I'm not sure whether this was in your challenge, Nathan, or in another one. someone is asking, can you expand on what is meant by timing technologies? You'll have to remind myself which one of you mentioned that phrase.
So, okay, so you are obviously taking advantage of my not working in this area. So the timing sits within the position, navigation, and timing within emerging technologies core. What I will do is if you put your name in the chat, I'll take that away and speak to James and get him to contact you directly. The emerging technologies area is incredibly niche, as you can imagine. So I sit with innovation. So I will follow up and get an answer for you. But I wouldn't want to tell you anything that wasn't correct on the call.
And it was Matthew. I can see your email in the chat, Matthew. Thank you. We'll take that forward. Okay, so moving forward, Isabel, happy to come to you. If not, I can take this one. Ben is asking, can a component of a solution that is already developed to TRL level 5 can that be included, i.e. the particular element we wish to develop with TRIG funding is TRL level 2, but we are currently further along the development cycle for the whole project?
You can answer that if you...
Okay, that's fine. So it is acceptable for you to apply if the module that you're developing is at the required TRIG TRL. So if the module that you're developing is a TRL level 2 and that feeds into a solution that you've developed at a higher TRL, that's absolutely fine. What we cannot accept is higher TRL level solutions. But if the specific module you're putting forward for TRIG is at a low TRL, that is okay. I hope that was clear. Okay, the next one is for you, Ellen. Oh, I think we've just missed Ellen. Right, I'll ask the question and maybe Seth or Nathan. Oh no, Helen's back. Oh, good. So the question we've got is, are only technological and economic feasibility of a decarbonisation project supported by TRIG?
I'd probably need a bit more detail to answer that fully, but we're interested in a range of solutions and I'd recommend going to have a look at the grant spec. We've funded kind of a number of wonderful different projects, so go and have a look at things we've funded previously and hopefully that will kind of give you a bit of an answer. If not, and if you still have a question afterwards, then do feel free to follow up with our CPT colleagues and they can let you know.
Absolutely. It was from an anonymous attendee, so I'm not sure who to call out for this one. So if you're still on the call, please let us know. I am scrolling down to see a couple of other questions around the MFA, so minimum financial assistance. The reason why these grants are under minimum financial assistance is because all grants needs to, these grants follow these specific rules. I see some of you are referring to other calls. So the rule, and please refer to the application guidance document, is that you cannot go over £315,000 of grants received in the last 3 financial years from the date when you received the last grant. So regardless of how many other grants you may be a recipient for, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of those grants were also under MFA rules. So please check the details on the grant offer letters for the other grants that you received, if any, and then respond to the MFA question on the application form accordingly. If you have any questions, Isabel, I think it would be worth inviting those attendees to join the drop-in session. Which one of the two is the finance-related one?
The next one.
So on the 9th of May. Perfect. Okay. Seth, Nathan, one for you. This is about relationship with DFT. When a bid is submitted, are the project teams going to engage with the individual divisions in the DFT with responsibility for the proposed solution areas, i.e., do you engage with buses and taxis divisions for a bus-related submission?
Seth, do you want me to take this?
You can take it, or I can. Don't mind.
I'm happy to. I think so. Yeah, it's a great question. And actually, the answer is yeah. In essence, yes. The actual challenge that you're applying to is owned by the challenge owner. So the people you can see on the call are the owners of the challenges, except for myself. However, we are keen for you to be exposed to the wider ecosystem within the department. That also includes armed length bodies, national highways, network rail, and so on. So absolutely, yes, in ideal situations, it might be. And I think if we're being honest, if we end up in an election situation, that one might be more difficult if we end up in a pre-election cycle, whereby we have to kind of close ship a little bit and not be seen to be given advice on behalf of a government which is in the process of dissolving. So I think long answer, the short answer is, yeah, watch this space. In an ideal situation, you will have free access to the department. Seth, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, just that the policy lead will do their best to help facilitate conversations within DFT, but obviously that depends on the capability and people in those teams as to whether they've got the spare capacity to offer as much support as might be required by each team. So yeah, it kind of varies on each year and what is available at the time. But we try and do as much as we can for every team and get them to the relevant person who can answer the questions or provide the support.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Isabel, a couple of process questions again for you, against more a reiteration rather than anything else. So how long should a project last? Can we go through the start and finish dates again, maybe?
Yeah, so the project should last 6 months. So starting from the 1st of October and ending end of the 31st of March 2025. That's the answer.
Yep, absolutely. There is a question, well, two questions around where you need to be based. So one of the eligibility, actually, why don't you take this one, Isabel?
So yes, the eligibility criteria is that the company needs to be UK registered. So it could be a foreign company that has UK, that is UK registered, but you really need to be UK registered. Do you want to add something?
No, that's absolutely right. Yes. There is a question for you, Ellen. They say, thank you for sharing the mass link. With multiple providers already offering multimodal route planning and payment APIs, what area of mass DFT identified as needing development?
Yeah, so I think it's less about specific areas. We're more kind of seeking a range of innovative solutions, and we're really interested in kind of anything related to mobility as a service and the decarbonisation of transport. So sorry to not be able to be slightly more specific there. But yeah, if you've got kind of an interesting innovation that is kind of seeking to develop or something innovative to do with mobility as a service, and it also will contribute to decarbonisation, then do feel free to apply.
Perfect. There is a question around IP. So who will own the IP? Do you want me to take this one, Isabel, or do you want to? The IP will remain with the developer of the idea of the solution. So either the SME startup organization or university developing the idea. Clearly, if you're using someone else's background IP, that will stay with them. Hopefully that is clear. We do have our T's and C's available on the website that you're welcome to read through, which will state the same. Right. If a UK subsidiary is the lead for an application, can it include the parent company in the consortium, which is based in Norway, as long as the budget allocated for labour and other costs from the Norwegian entity is under 50%? Do you want to take this one, Isabel?
If you can answer that, I
Yeah, no,
think yeah,
that's fine. So it builds on what we answered before. So the the lead applicant, as Isabel mentioned before, has to be UK registered. You can work and have as your collaborators other organizations, including organizations that are not based in the UK. However, as per the application guidance document, which once again, I will very warmly advise you to read thoroughly, you can have subcontractors that are not based in the UK. However, the amount of funding that they can receive is only up to 50% of the overall TRIG funding that you are requesting. Everything that I said is in the application guidance document, so please look at that as well. So we're going back to, sorry, I've just seen it, a question that we answered earlier about letters of support. Even though letter of support are not required, if we want to upload letter of support as part of application, is there a way to include them? No, unfortunately, no, you can't. As part of the TRIG process, we have decided with our DFT colleagues to not allow for any extra attachments. However, if you do have some, please list them. You can't attach them, you can list them in the other comments box. And that's sort of extra information that we are very welcome to receive. I hope that answers that question. What is the expected result of these projects? A physical pilot with services being delivered for customer, a proof of concept of an app being built but not working in the wild, for example? Seth, do you want to take that one?
Yep. So normally we like proof of concept to be the aim of TRIG. That's sort of progressing through those early TRLs, and that could be a physical product, it could be software simulation, it could be an app, it could be any of the above, as long as it's sort of that proof of concept early TRL.
Perfect, thank you. Sam is asking, does applying for the full 45,000 reduce the likelihood of being successful when compared to the same application for, say, £30,000? Anyone would like to take that one?
I can take it.
I can.
Oh, Isabel.
Well, okay. I can start and then you can complement. So this won't affect your score. What we are looking at is really value for money. So if we feel that you are not providing good value for money in terms of costs, then that would be scoring low. But if you really need the £45,000 for your project, then you won't score lower. It's not going to affect your selection. Don't know if you
Yeah.
you want to add?
Yeah, nothing much really to add to that. If you don't need the full 45, we don't expect you to apply for the full amount, only if you need it to complete the full project.
Okay, thank you. We've got another 5 minutes or so, so I'll try and cover a couple of the ones that are in the Q&A specifically. I'll try to prioritize the scoped one. So for instance, coming to Seth, Nathan, to you, I'm not sure whether any of the challenges could potentially cover this one, maybe the open call. Let's see. Can we apply with a project? Oh, it's jumped again. Can we apply with a project that considers a change of government and the reunification of the TOCs into a single GBR entity? Basically solving all the government's problems. So, Nathan. You're mute.
I was going to say, Seth, you can have the first stab at this if you like.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we stand on that one. In terms of, yeah, we can't really say in terms of what's going to happen with the next government or assume anything. Yeah, I don't think we could fund a project based on a possible future government and therefore policies that have been floated that they may be bringing in. That seems a rather abstract thing to be funding at this point.
Exactly. I'd also argue that potentially combining all TOCs is not a technological response to a challenge. While regardless, it may be a good idea, maybe a bad idea, in terms of actually the grant spec and what the grants are used for, it's very hard to kind of say that would be a technological solution to a problem. But no, thank you. It's always good to hear good ideas, though.
Absolutely. Kate, I'm coming to you for a maritime challenge question that Jamie asked. Does the maritime challenge extend to port infrastructure servicing maritime transport?
Yeah, sure. And hello, everyone. Conscious I've not spoke yet. I work with Amber in the Maritime Decarbonisation team. So yes, the Maritime Decarbonisation Call includes any projects that are reducing greenhouse gas emissions from the maritime sector. So that includes landside infrastructure that supports the uptake of new fuels, lower zero carbon emission fuels, or vessels. So therefore, port infrastructure would be within the scope of that if it's helping to overall reduce emissions from the maritime sector. But if you've got a more specific question about a certain piece of port infrastructure, or you're not sure whether it would class as helping to reduce emissions from the maritime sector, please do follow up with Julia and team afterwards, and we can clarify that.
Absolutely, thank you. And Isabel, coming to you for this one. Can you briefly, in conscious of time, we've got 3 minutes, so maybe if you give us a 30 seconds overview of what support is provided during the project timeline.
Sure. So I think the TRIG provides like multiple way of helping companies to deliver the project. So first of all, we have those coffee connectors, which are workshop or calls or a presentation that helps the cohort to understand some specific topic. We also are available for any question, any specific question that you could have, any signposting that you would need in terms of what company you need to speak to I don't know, solve any specific challenge you have. It could be around data, it could be anything. We obviously it's a large cohort, so we can't always provide very personalized support, but we always make sure that we try to provide you as much support as we can, and also as I mentioned during the webinar, we give you some visibility and credibility throughout this program. So this is a very important opportunity to be visible and to network with the industry and also DFT policy lead. So this is what makes this program unique.
Absolutely. Ending on a very positive note then. So I'm going to bring us to a close today. Thank you very much for everyone who has attended. I believe in the chat you can see the link to our drop-in session on the 9th and on the 15th. I would encourage everyone, again, some of the questions that we unfortunately haven't been able to cover today are covered in the application guidance document. So please refer to that document in the first instance. We will get back to you if any of the questions that you asked are not covered in there. So we will respond back to you. And other than that, good luck with your applications. If you need anything or if you have any other queries following today, please contact us at trig@cp.catapult.org.uk. That also will be posted in the chat, and we'll make it available on what is available online on our website. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good rest of today.